My name is Cameron, and this is my video out. I am Cameron Widhalm. I am originally from Yakima, Washington. I identify as gay. I use he, him, his pronouns, and that's me. So Yakima is not really like city, not like way out in the country, podunk nowhere. I was raised like on the edge of town, so I had like a lot of space to go out and play and live right next to an orchard, so I'd always go in there. Not a whole lot of diversity there, so there wasn't really any culture mixing. I went to a Catholic private school, and so I again didn't really get a whole lot of culture. But looking back, it was kind of like quite the experience of being isolated like that. I was left with my own thoughts a lot, and being raised Catholic, it was like everything was being fed to me. So I think that was an odd experience. So I feel like there were a few first discoveries for me. I remember distinctly, we had this one couch in our house. It was like this big L couch, and then there was this other like love seat, and I was curled up in the love seat, had my legs up to one side, just sitting all funky. And we were watching the Disney Channel with my two sisters, and this guy came up on the screen, and both my sisters were like, "Ooh, he's cute." And I was like, "Yeah, he is." And they both like cast this horrible stare at me, and they're like, "Cameron, you can't say that. That's no." I was like, oh, okay. That's how it goes. And just kind of internalized that. And I don't know why, but after coming out, I was like, reviewing my life, playing it back. And I was like, I never remembered that. I never like realized that happened until I had to go back and think about it. And for some reason that just sticks out in my mind. I guess the next time I had that kind of awakening was in college. This was the first time that I actually like fully admitted it to myself. I mean, there's that little idea that deep down, something's different, but you can't quite admit it to yourself. And you're trying to deny it. And you're like, no, it's just this, it's just that, and blame it on this, or no, it was just that one scenario, or whatever excuse we always come up with. I think it was the first time that I was actually able to like verbalize and like think the words like, I am gay, I like men, just to admit that in myself and think those words, because it felt like such a taboo to me. I went over to my best friend's house, and I was having a horrible day. I was sobbing, and I was like, this happened, and I think I failed this exam, and this, and just was going on and on, just sobbing on her couch. And then I like paused and waited, and I said, and I think I'm gay. And she like reached over and grabbed my hand, and she's like, and that's okay. And that was the first time it had ever like escaped my lips of saying that. And it was like at this time of I'm having this horrible day, and like looking back on it now, it's like, wow, that was just such a turnaround point. That really wasn't quite rock bottom, but it was like, it's just funny to look back and see that, that's where it all started. That's when I first came out. The scariest part is right before you start. It's like, you have no idea where this is going to go. You don't know where this is going to end. Do you really want to embark on this? Like, just that whirlwind of emotion. So I have two sisters, one older, one middle, and I'm the youngest. And my closer sister, after I ended up telling her, she was like, I had an idea for a while and just knew that I needed to leave you and let you figure it out. And you would come to me when you were ready, and we would figure it out. And like, I'm always here for you. Anything else you need to talk about, doesn't matter to me. I love you no matter what. The difficult part was definitely my parents. I had no idea what was going to happen. And it was just like, I was ready for whatever. I didn't know if it was going to go super smooth because like I'm their son and they love me, or if it was just going to be like, oh, I never want to see you again. Never want to talk to you again. Get out. Goodbye. I actually told my mom first, and I really wanted to make coming out like, I just wanted to be out already. I didn't want to make it like, okay, let's sit down, let's have a conversation, let's do this. Because I was like, that's just nerve wracking and that's just making too big of a deal with it. I just want to be done with it. I just want to be out. And so I was like trying to look for a way to just nonchalantly like bring it up and just kind of like introduce it and just like set it out and get it out there in life so I could just be done with it and be over with it. And at the time I had a bracelet on that my boyfriend had made me, and my mom was like, "Ooh, that's a cool bracelet. Where'd you get it?" And I was like, "Oh, my boyfriend gave it to me." And it almost kind of slipped out like I didn't realize it, which is exactly how I wanted it to happen. But I kind of had that moment of panic of like, "Ooh, are you sure you want to do this?" And then I said it and I got it out and I was like, "Cool, did it." And I was like, "Do you want to see a picture of him?" Because I had a Polaroid of him in my car, like stuck up under the visor, so it was like hidden. And I like pulled it out and showed it to her, and she was just kind of like silent and didn't say anything. Wasn't like, "Ooh, okay," or like, not. It was nothing. And I was like, "Huh, okay." And I took the Polaroid back and was like thinking, I was like, did she hear me? Like I was reviewing the event in my head because I was a little bit nervous, and I was like, I don't want to say like, did you hear me? Because then that just sets a whole different tone of the conversation. And I was like, but I know she heard me, but she's not saying anything, like not even verbalizing any kind of like, oh, okay, or like confirmation that she heard me. It was kind of weird, and I was like, I don't know what to do. So I just kind of stayed quiet, and we were driving, and we got to our next destination, and we were going shopping for like tomato plants or something like that. And we went into the store, and she was like, "Oh, okay, I think they'll have tomato plants. They'll probably be in the back." And I was like, okay, that's nothing's gonna come of it. Cool, another super easy check came out to mom. Like super easy. And then we went to go get gas up, and she was like, there are camps that we can go to. This is a problem we can fix. You don't have to deal with you don't have to take this on. And I was like, whoa, mom, this is not a problem. This isn't something I have to fix. This is not something that's, and thankfully I had kind of not practiced that with my boyfriend, but we talked about it before. He was like, they're probably going to bring up like conversion camps. And I was like, no, my parents wouldn't do that. But so I was like kind of ready for it, and it was still like, I'm glad that we had talked about it before, because I knew to say no, and I knew to explain that it wasn't a problem, and I knew to kind of affront it with that and stop it in its tracks. Whereas if I hadn't talked about it before, and that was the first opinion I had gotten from like my parents, significant figures in my life, I may have been more open to it, which is such a scary thought to me, that if I hadn't had that experience, and if I hadn't been as far along into my coming out journey, that could have been my future. It's just, that just scares me to think that could have been me. I don't want to wait like any more moments of time in my life to have to come out to both parents, because I don't want to like wait overnight and have my mom bring it up and then have like my dad know, but me not have told him, and like then I have to tell him, and then he already knows, and then I just didn't want to deal with any of that mess of information. So I was like, I need to come out to him as fast as possible. Like as I open my car door, I'm just gonna shout, "I'm gay," or something like that. I just need to get this over with. I cannot deal with this. Like this is the like limbo of coming out. I don't want to be in here. So like he was like, "Oh cool, how'd errands go?" And I was like, "Good, I told my mom about my boyfriend," and just brought it up right then. And he was like, Are you serious? And I was like, "Yep," because like I have very dry humor, so like that's the way I usually tell my jokes. So he may have thought I was joking. And I was like, "Yes, I'm dead serious. I have a boyfriend." And he was like, "You're not joking. You're serious?" And I was like, "Yes, I'm very serious." And he kind of asked that another time, and I was like, "Yes." And he goes, like I was showing him like some scab or something, like it was some injury. It was just kind of an odd reaction that I wasn't really expecting, kind of sticks with me. And that was that. And they didn't want to talk about it, didn't want to know. And they just haven't really asked anything else about it. They just kind of have expressed that they don't they don't want to be a part of it. They kind of brought it up as to like tell me that of like, hey, we're Catholic, we understand that that's where you're going in life, but I don't want to hear anything about it. I don't want to know anything about it. Leave it be. So I'm respecting that. And my sister, my oldest sister, when I told her that, when I came out to her, she kind of texted me like a week later, and she was like, hey, I understand that's your life, but like, I don't want to know anything about it. Kind of gave me that same spiel. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Thank you. That was the nicest way they could have brought that up to me. And that was the nicest way they could have preserved their values and, preserved their end of it. And it was the cleanest way to do that. It still kind of irked me that that's where they were. They still talk to me. They still ask how I'm doing in school. They still inquire about me. They just don't inquire about that part of my life, which is a huge, significant part of my life. But it's not that they don't love me. It's not that they don't want to hear about me being happy. It's not anything like that. It's really just they're being told it's wrong. They believe that advice, and that's why they're acting this way. Oh my gosh, what's my favorite part? Do I have to pick just one? I think realizing that after coming out that you can have masculine and feminine energy, and that it's not just masculine as being a man and feminine as being a woman. No, there's so much more to it, and like expanding that you can be creative and life-giving and empathetic and feel that femininity, that globe of the energy that is, and you can be that, physical and kind of living in the moment, being part of this, your surroundings, and be that masculine only in the present kind of energy, and feeling both of those, and feeling a mix and the sway and the true spectrum that is, that you can be very feminine one day and then you can be very masculine the next day. And I love that I can just live like that, how it should be. I love that I can be me in that way, that I can use the knowledge that I have acquired and apply it to my life like that. I love being that. I love being able to do that and being able to change and apply that new knowledge to my life, and just to know what it feels like to feel both of those energies and kind of experience that spectrum of how it should be. I love that about myself. Bye.